Have you ever wondered about your destiny or the very concept of it? And maybe you were down the road in your life and you took a left, and was that the right road? Or maybe you took that left and then you made a correction and landed back on what your destiny really should have been. Well, we're going to explore that today with a very interesting man that I've known for quite a while. And I think you'll find this segment very interesting. So stick around. Oh, this is the Kathleen Francis Show, in case you didn't know. We'll be right back.
These times can feel heavy, like the world forgot how to hold us. But in the red rocks of Sedona, something is growing. A place to be exactly who you are, to dance, to heal, to be held. We're not waiting for a better world. We're building it. Together. This is Humankind. Come home.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it's Kathleen here again with a very interesting show that I think you're going to find fascinating and enlightening, because we are here at the Humankind Center in the studio in the heart of Sedona, Arizona. And we have a guest that was born and raised here and is an intrinsic part in the community. His name is Mason Bradshaw. Mason, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a beautiful space.
Isn't it?
Yeah, when you say the heart of Sedona, we're literally inside the red rocks, so it's pretty cool.
Yes, because we're down below. So let me tell you a little bit about this young man, because I have known Mason since he was 2 years old. And here's a shot of him that I took when he had his grandfather's hat on, because I am the book producer of 5 of the books that the Bradshaws have. He owns the book company that distributes all of these wonderful books. And the biography of Bob was something that I worked on for many years, because I don't know if you knew it, but Bob would sit with me and we'd work on 1 page per day. And, you know, I was like, I thought I'd never get it done, but we managed to.
Yeah, turned out great.
Thank you. Thank you. And that book gives such a wonderful disclosure of the background. Bob Bradshaw, for those of you that might not know, was an iconic figure in the Red Rock country. And Bob came here in 1947.
1947.
And he was here when there were 300 people, and everybody went to the well to get the water.
Oh, yeah.
You want to tell a little bit more about your upbringing?
Yeah, so I'll start from the very beginning when my grandfather first moved out here. So he always wanted to be a cowboy, but he's also very artistic. He liked to draw with colored pencil, take photography. He ended up taking the first color photography here in Sedona, ended up being a location scout for Hollywood, met very famous Hollywood actors and actresses. He's a very stoic kind of guy. When I got to know him, he was born in 1918, so when I got to know him when I was born in 1997, he's kind of getting to his later years and very quiet kind of guy, but very interesting. Talked very little, but when he did talk, it was, you wanted to listen. Very good stories, very good history.
Yes, and that was when I met you in 1999. You were 2 years old.
Yeah.
He was not as much a family man as I would have hoped. I had to practically, lasso him to come and even have dinner that night. And when I took that great shot of you, and Bob, you're right. He had the stories about John Wayne, Elvis Presley. He would, say Joan Crawford really was that terrible mom.
Right.
And he had incredible stories. Now, I said we were going to explore a little bit about our destiny. And when I met Mason at the age of 2, first of all, he was the cutest baby you ever saw in your life. You don't remember that, but I do. And as he grew, what was your education and what did you...
Yeah, growing up on the ranch, it was sold off in '08, so I was still pretty young, but I was riding horses since I was 3 years old. helping out as best I can. My dad was really the rancher in the family, and we all started taking photography. Then growing up in Sedona, it wasn't the old Sedona that we used to, drive cattle through the canyons. So when I was growing up, it was more evolving into the new spiritual side of Sedona, getting more into the vortexes, the energy, the vibrations, and then the tourists started coming and to see the red rocks, and then the vibrations, the energy, the crystals, all just stuck around, became the next evolution of Sedona's history.
Well, years ago, and I don't know if you knew this, but your father, John Bradshaw, another iconic figure in Sedona, he wanted to start, because Bob started the very first tours, horseback tours, and he actually built the first photography building and studio from the set from Broken Arrow that they left for him, and he took all of that set that they had, and he built what is now the...
It's Bradshaw Color Studios now. We don't have a physical location, but back then it was Bradshaw Photo.
Yeah. And Raleigh Photos is what occupies that building that your grandfather
Still
built.
in Uptown.
In Uptown Sedona. And so, that was part of the rich history. And John decided he wanted to start a Jeep tour company, and A Day in the West was born. You want to tell a little bit about that history?
Yeah, so A Day in the West, my dad actually bought it when it was back of Sedona Photo Tours. 1997, the year I was born. But before that, my uncle started Red Rock Jeep Tours in 1963, Bob Jr.
Now, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's actually the first tour guide for Pink Jeep in 1960, one of the first Pink Jeep drivers. And then he started Red Rock Jeep Tours, and now my dad has merged all the smaller companies together. Red Rock Jeep, A Day in the West, Earth Wisdom, which is more spiritually based. He merged them all together. And we formed Sedona Jeep Tours, and that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. And what were you when you first started out?
Oh yeah, when I was first starting out, well, it depends on when you want to.
I'm talking about the career that your family maybe wanted you to do.
Yeah, well, I didn't always want to go into the family business, but my dad used to pull me out of middle school to help move rocks on the trails. So you could always say that's when it started. When I was about 7, 8 years old, going out on the trails, moving the trail rocks out, driving the Jeeps to make sure it's drivable. And then, life progressed, and then I went to college, got my education, came back right when COVID hit, right after I graduated college, and my dad needed some help with the family businesses, and I just started from the ground up. To be honest, he didn't pay me the first couple months, and my first pay raise.
I know about that.
Yeah, first pay raise was to minimum wage, and then started driving the Jeeps, and then eventually became the general manager.
But you were a policeman.
No, my sister was a policewoman, and I went to school to become a police officer, and it never came to fruition.
And what did I tell you?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No, it was years ago.
And I said to your dad, I said, no, Mason has to have the heritage of his family, and he should not be a police officer. He needs to be the next in line to run the operation here, because, years ago, I have a very interesting background too. So I ended up writing the biography of your grandfather when I should have been writing the biography of my own grandfather, which I still need to do. But my grandfather your illustrious past history is much different than mine. And I'm doing a shout out to Hurley, Wisconsin, because that's where I was born and raised. My grandfather was the biggest bootlegger in the Northwoods for the Capones. Yeah. And that was a very rich history. And there was only once I was very close to my dad. I came home from one of my many adventures in my life, and I remember the only argument we had in my life is he yelled at me and he said, "You're a failure because you didn't come back home and stay here and work with me." And he was right. I really think that was the left turn in terms of destiny. That's really where I should have gone back and operated within your context of your history. because my dad was a really big deal back there. When he passed away, he was on the front page not only of our local papers, but the bigger cities around, because my father carried the very illustrious history of Hurley, Wisconsin. And you, in your heritage, carry the history of Sedona, Arizona. And I know, the Bradshaw Ranch got a lot of publicity. Your dad was on one of the television shows.
Beyond Skinwalker.
Tell a little bit about that, because we might have to do a whole show on that one. But I want to focus on Mason and what he's doing and the evolution of his youth and the young man that he's become, that I'm so proud of. And, your grandfather tried to make him wife number 6 or 7, so make me that. I would have been your grandmother.
Right.
Would that be scary?
That would be crazy times.
But
going back to your original question, which was, what you just asked?
Well, we were talking about the heritage here and how you are the next generation carrying that. I mean, the biography that I wrote is such an incredible, it was a privilege for me to work with Bob and get that rich history embedded in my own consciousness.
Right. Yeah. When you're talking about destiny and the path, I tried veering off, and then destiny and probably, Mother Earth just steered me right back to Sedona, very powerful pull. And then going back to the Beyond Skinwalker with the History Channel, we filmed it a couple years ago in December. They cut all my speaking parts out. I think I kind of got a little bit out there for them.
You can be out here.
Yeah, we filmed at the Vortex at the airport, the Sedona Airport Vortex, one of the most powerful ones out there. And it's actually a small little space, which is cool. But yeah, they cut all my speaking parts out of there. But it was fun. They came out here with some heavy duty equipment, and I don't think they thought they were going to find as much as they did. And they left very happy with all the footage they had. We're supposed to get 1 episode, and they stretched it out into 2.
Yes, and I'm probably going to have to do the same thing, because basically, for those of you that might not know, my family back in Hurley, Wisconsin, I'm sure, basically, Bob's wife number 3, I think.
I can't keep him straight.
Yeah, I know. Well, his wife number 2, Bob was 52 at the time, and he married your grandmother. She was 21. And, here's a shot of Bob with baby John. And we're going to have a few shots of family evolution there. But Marie was your grandmother. She was an iconic figure as well. And Linda. Linda lived on the ranch with Bob. And both Bob, and Bob wouldn't let me put that stuff in the biography. I was like fighting for him to do certain things, but he wouldn't let me go in that direction. But he told me that he could hear rumbling at night underneath their home, the buildings there. Did you talk about that? And then I know your father and your uncle had some very interesting situations.
Yeah, so when we were out there filming, they actually had special equipment where they could scan underneath the earth. And, there's always that rumor that, there's underground tunnels in Sedona, underground bases, the cement plant out in Clarkdale. And what they found was pretty much a giant hole that was straight underneath the ranch. If you drew a straight line from what they could gather, it would go directly towards the cement plant and directly towards Secret Canyon, and the ranch is right in the middle of it. So it kind of gave more life to that theory.
And Linda and Bob Tom Dongo wrote the book Merging Dimensions, and they saw things. And Bob told me himself, he said that they saw at night images, and she got some photographs of aliens.
Yeah, and one of the coolest photos in that book is a portal actually opened on a alligator juniper tree, one of the only alligator juniper trees in that area. And it opened up a portal. She snapped a photo, and you could see telephone poles and lines in there.
Yes.
When there wasn't any around it. going back to that ranch now, that same tree has been hit by lightning and is destroyed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so last time I was there when we're filming out there, we even tested like some different radiations, and they would have like radiation portals above it, and then these like trails of radiation leading up to that one central location right above the tree.
Wow, that is I'm getting I'm getting shivers.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, and Tom Dongo continues on his Facebook page I should get him on my show as well, to explore all of these things that you're talking about. And just, I guess, as a little interesting part here, tell everybody what you're doing right now. From the time I knew you at the age of 2,
Right.
did your destiny have any inkling that this is what you'd be doing? I saw it, but maybe he didn't.
Yeah. Well, now, run the Jeep tours for my dad, and then I started a few of my own companies, bought a couple. So I brought Bradshaw Killer Studios for my father, which he bought for my grandfather. So we still do photos, postcards, calendars, books here in town. I'm managing the Jeep tour, which we have around 80 employees now, 50 Jeeps in our fleet, trolleys, all that good stuff. And then I just started with my business partner's airplane tour company. So we have a couple different aircraft where we can fly to the Grand Canyon, Antelope Canyon, do tours out there, very educational. And then we also do on-demand private charters. So that's Sedona Airways. So we can fly people anywhere in the Southwest to come to Sedona, experience Sedona, learn about it. And that's our whole, kind of motif of everything that we do is education. Educate the people of Sedona. Not only about like the woo-woo stuff of Sedona, but its rich history, the geology, the plant life, all that good stuff is kind of mixed in. And then if they want to talk about, all the theories and, some of the science behind all of this, we could deep dive into that as well.
For sure. Now, I know your John ended up with another partner years ago, and then Surreal Chioza came along, and his other partners, John and the other partner, wanted to sell all of the Jeep tours. But I believe that when Surreal met your father and was looking at purchasing that, he said he would only buy the Jeep tour companies if John came along with it.
Yep.
And so this is how, so Surreal is still your partner in that, right?
Yep.
And Surreal, I know John had said to me many times how much he learned from Surreal. Surreal has been a very iconic businessman, developer, and a wonderful human being.
Yep.
And basically, the expansion, and now they own Alcantara, correct? The winery that, the John Bradshaw story. If you want to know about Sedona, this is what you're going to find just about anything and everything that you can do while you're here. As opposed to, and because I have a shop and boutique in Old Town, which most of you know, I continue to flow people in their direction. And then when people come in and I say, are you doing Jeep tour? We're doing Pink Jeep tour. And I say, no, I wish you to come sooner because Pink Jeep is a big corporate thing. And their history and their drivers know a lot of the history, but it's not the same because the drivers that you have are real cowboys, real Indians, and their basic education, which they're very heavily trained, gives the real authentic history that Sedona, Arizona imbues.
Yeah, we let our guides be themselves a lot. Of course, they're doing Jeep tours in Sedona. They love the area. They love the space. So I always call it like an information bubble. And what separates us from Pink is we only do private tours. So we could really cater to the customer. So if it's just 2 people, the guide knows how to cater to them. Where, if you have 3 groups of 2 in the back from different backgrounds and different parts of the world, it's harder for the guide to kind of navigate it, and so it's a little bit more scripted over there. But I work well with them. I love working with them. They do a lot of trail maintenance, communication with their manager all the time. So not many companies have permits to do what we do in Sedona, and so we want to keep that relationship nice and good. And they definitely help us out. We help them out, and it's pretty cohesive.
I think people don't realize and understand the partnership that they have with the Forest Service and what is the underpinning of, for them to do what they do to bring you out into the Red Rocks. I love to have like the backstory for people to understand that a little better, because when Mason is talking about the permits are very, very important, and they could not do anything without them. So explain that a little bit for people so they have an understanding of what it really means.
Yeah, so those permits, they only allocated to 3 different companies in town. And basically, you got to record everything you do out there, how many people you take out, how much money you're collecting from them, how long you're out there, what trails you're going on. So it's a lot of information based. And then the Forest Service is very understaffed. So they rely on us to do a lot of the trail maintenance out there. Majority of the trail maintenance falls onto the companies. We actually created a nonprofit with not just the 3 Jeep Tour companies, but other off-road companies in town as well. And we come together, we talk about what trails need the maintenance, and then we just do it for the Forest Service, as well as, we got to pay for those permits, which is a pretty penny.
Yeah, they pay a lot for those permits, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
So if people say, oh, gee, the price of, no, the Forest Service gets a big chunk of the money that you pay to take a tour. And then you've got a lot of off-road companies, and, I think that, people think, oh, I can go drive it myself, but it's not the same. When you get a driver is really gives so much information, pertinent information. It's an incredible experience for them to be on a Jeep tour.
Yeah, and one, it preserves the land a little bit better when, you're driving it properly. And then you get to learn everything about Sedona while you're on that tour, if it's, where to eat that night, to, the spirituality of Sedona, the history. One of the biggest things that the Forest Service has us talk about is, conservation, the cryptobiotic soil out there. So those are some of the things that we want to educate, especially after the Jeep tour, they go on hikes and they start bushwhacking. If all 4 million tourists bushwhacked it, they'd be stomping on the cryptobiotic soil.
It's very important. Yeah, explain a little bit more in depth about that so people do understand.
Yeah, so, the circle of life, every little aspect of, from the smallest critters to us is impacted. So if you start stomping on the smallest living organisms, that'll eventually create a chain where it'll, affect us in the long run, or affect everything in the area. And it would just be devastating for the space. So that the cryptobiotic soil, it's like this black, it kind of looks like mold out there on the trails. And to some people, it would just be dirt, and they step on it, not knowing that they're actually killing something that is living, and that affects everything, the ecology of Sedona.
We have a few of the old timers, so to speak, in the area. One woman, I'm forgetting her name, but that's one of the things that she focuses on, is the education of what he's just explaining and the importance of it. There are so many things that people can learn about Sedona, and the aspects that may not always have as much attention, because people come here and they want to hike and all that sort of thing. But I've heard stories of people who do the off-road things, and in my opinion, I think it's not a good idea. I know one story of this woman doctor and her family, and she was driving and she made a bad turn and she ended up dead.
Yeah, it happens frequently with those machines. I mean, the Razors are high-performance off-road vehicles, where our Jeeps were going 5 miles an hour out there, where they're going 30.
Oh my God.
So when they don't know the trails, they don't know the turns, they go on the trails the wrong direction a lot of the time. So sometimes they're whipping around those corners going 30 miles an hour, and there's a Jeep on the trail, and it's a one-way trail. And and they tear up the trails because they're going so fast. They go off the trails, they do donuts off the trails. So it's pretty devastating to, the people that rent them are mostly the problem. The people that own it and come and bring it down here are also kind of a problem, but at least they are not trained, but have experience driving the vehicles at least. But, I always preach it, like, take that somewhere else. Sedona's a little bit more of a sacred area. We do a lot to preserve these trails. they don't have much staff for the Forest Service, and there's plenty of desert in the state where you can do that kind of fun stuff. But if you're looking for a thrill ride, I want to do it here in town. Sedona's more of should be more spiritually based, more relaxing, and doesn't really fit our theme. So I don't see them going away anytime soon. But
that's too bad.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too bad about them. But
I can.
It is the truth. Yeah, we've actually taken our nonprofit. They've told me this. Have taken, the different Google images of the trails before and after the razors were introduced.
Oh.
And what used to take 5-10 years to degrade on the trail takes a month. So now we're out there, weekly doing trail maintenance. And
I did not know this. Now, what's the name of your nonprofit for that, Mason?
It used to be called the Rock Group, and they just changed their name. Trail Partners of Arizona, I believe it's called.
And how do people contribute to that? And is that something? How do people? I did not even know about this myself, and that might be something. I'm going to do a lot of, not in studio, but actually out, on location, and that might be a one that I would consider doing to give some understanding of the importance of what you're explaining. What is it called now? How do people find it?
Yeah, so I would say Trail Partners of Arizona, and I'll get you the main contact. Her name's Nina Barlow. She used to own Barlow Rentals. She used to rent Jeeps to the public, and she actually used to be on our staff a long time ago. Great business owner, one of the greatest business minds I know in town. And I always look up to her because I'm so busy trying to stir up more business and keep the companies afloat, where she was at a really good point in life where she could start this nonprofit and take lead and ownership of it. So I'll get you her information. She's a great person to contact, and she's leading everything on that.
Wow, that's exciting. This was unexpected, and I'm such a champion of all living things to an absurd level.
Right.
I mean, I feed everything that I probably shouldn't, including the cats and feral cat. Anyway, because then anyway, we won't go that direction right now. But nature and especially, I mean, I of course have majority of people that come in my shop are tourists, and a lot of them are disenchanted with the commercialism that has happened to Sedona. And you're talking about something that's critically important for, I think, anyone considering coming here, for them to think about and for them to understand you're not here just for the dollar. You're here because you're someone that has a heritage. I mean, I have photographs that Bob took before all the development. And Bob and I would go out and take photographs. A lot of my photographs are on your calendars or have been. And my photographs, too, are in the books. And I took some amazing photographs of Bob that we were out shooting one day. And I said, Bob, hold still once. And I got that phenomenal silhouette of him with the backdrop of the red rocks at dusk. That was iconic and in the books. And actually, I used that silhouette to create the logo for his photo collection. It was quite something to work with Bob.
Yeah.
He was a challenge. He wanted me to be his wife, and I said, Bob, I'll look after you till you pass. But no, I'm not being wife number 6 or 7, whatever
it was.
Yeah, and we'd
there.
be out to dinner or something, and I'd see a woman about his age or younger, and I'd say, Bob, that would be a nice woman for you. She's too old. He wanted, when I was working with him, I was in my 40s, so I was like, yeah. But anyway, but he was a very handsome man, and the Marlboro man for years, even though he didn't smoke.
Yep.
And
that's how you live to 90, folks.
That's exactly right.
Don't smoke.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, what is your your vision of what you want to do with your heritage, with the companies that you own and you're expanding on daily?
Yeah, I'm big in the community. I try to talk to the city as much as I can, the chamber as much as I can, and trying to make Sedona great for everybody, the residents, the tourists, and Sedona itself as the land. It's hard to navigate all three of those aspects. Sometimes there's just little squabbles between the three.
Oh, yes.
So I think that we're getting to that place where we're all kind of on the same page of where Sedona should be going. Because everyone that thinks of Sedona or that has visited Sedona 30, 40 years ago or 20 years ago, they envisioned Sedona back then where you could go to Slide Rock and you're by yourself, and you didn't have to pay. You could go to...
Oh, yeah, the fees.
Yeah, the fees, or you could camp in Boynton Canyon, things where, 30 years ago were amazing to do in Sedona.
Oh,
great
I
experiences. But if you open it up to the public now, you'd have 1,000 people camping out in Boynton Canyon at night, which would be devastating. So now we can't be what Sedona used to be, even though that's where everyone wants it to be.
Yes.
And then the new residents in town, everyone wants, once they move to Sedona, they want to be the last person to move/visit Sedona. It's like, you just visited Sedona 5 years ago as a tourist. Now you live here. Now you hate tourists.
Yeah, it is a conundrum.
It's a conundrum where, someone that was born and raised here, the third generation here. I like the tourism. They're coming here to experience it and learn about it. Let's educate them. Let's embrace them. Let's steer them to, the correct companies with the like mindset. Let's have them spend their money to keep Sedona beautiful, that saying.
Yes.
So it's all one big cohesive thing, and trying to keep the traffic down to a minimum, which, the small traffic that does accumulate, look outside the window. You're in, one of the most beautiful small towns in the world. Embrace it. Sit there for 10, 15 minutes in traffic, you'll be all right.
Because
it could
you
be
got
worse.
the view.
You got the view. You could be sitting in traffic for 45 minutes in LA, or Phoenix. And no one likes that, of course. So embrace your 15 minutes, get through it. We're trying to make it better. Yeah.
So you now have fourth generation.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
was that like?
Yeah, so my daughter was just born, Rhea Diana Faye Bradshaw.
And
cute as
your
a-
wife?
Yeah, Cassandra Bradshaw. Beautiful pair. Becoming a father in my late 20s has been kind of like a dream come true. And I always thought I'd be a good father, and now it's nice to see that's actually happening. And I love when I come home. The baby's, she's just standing up now, so she'll stand up and want to be picked up. And it's cute. But having that, now fourth generation coming to town, it's kind of a big milestone.
Yeah, and I'm sure that because, there's something about when you have a child, you think about the world that you want your child to be able to live into, and that brings it home a little bit more. You want your child to be able to enjoy Sedona as a preserved location. I know when USA Today put Sedona as the most beautiful place in the country, that was like, then all these out-of-state corporations bought up big chunks of Sedona, and that was not something that had any heart in it.
Right.
You carry the heart of Sedona with your heritage, with your family background, and I talk about that almost daily in my shop, and talk about your dad and, his rich history. There's so much. I mean, we could do a whole series just on the Bradshaw family. I mean, the thing that bothered me greatly was when I started to tell you about this back in '99, when your father used the Bradshaw Ranch, because Bob was a little behind in taxes, and I don't know the exact part of it, but he got funding through Gary Hughes, and the ranch was given as the security, and I don't know the exact thing that happened, but Gary Hughes called in a note, and then pretty soon the Bradshaw Ranch was used as a leverage for property that Gary got in Sedona, and now the Forest Service tore down, they own it, and tore down that beautiful movie set, this old movie set, and the gallows and the cemetery. I mean, the old adobe house, this was historic. I don't know if you knew this, but I had someone who fought to get that ranch back after it was taken.
Yeah, and actually the adobe house is still standing, and the main house is still standing. But people go in there all the time and vandalize it, and break windows, all that good stuff. So it's definitely not upkept.
Well, and that movie set the old. It was a village. It was a main street, and so many movies and TV shows, things were shot there on the Bradshaw Ranch. The Bradshaw Ranch belonged to all of Sedona, and it was a criminal act, in my opinion. Of course, I'm very Italian. My heritage. The Capones. Yeah, that's still me.
Yeah, a lot of rich history out there, and it could have been a very historical landmark for the town. Still fairly easy to get to.
And a day in the West, we took tours out there. We had the shoot 'em ups, and it was an experience that was remarkable and unlike any other. And now,
Right. Yeah, nothing quite like it. We used to do big cookouts.
Yes.
The closest thing to it right now is Blazing M Ranch in Cottonwood. They do a great job.
And I recommend the Blazing M all the time.
Yeah.
But, that was irreplaceable.
Yep, I agree. And, it's a shame to see. It's beautiful land out there. But who knows, maybe in the long run it'll come back into the family hands.
Well, one thing
We'll
for
see.
sure is you may not own the Bradshaw Ranch, but the Bradshaw Ranch will always be the Bradshaw Ranch.
Right.
And it's now a world, renowned situation that has been covered by a lot of different entities, like the one that we talked about before, because the notability of the Bradshaw Ranch is iconic for many reasons. And I truly love your vision of what you think we could restore and have as a heritage for, not just your family, but for the whole Arizona. I mean, people come from all over the world to shoot commercials with the red rocks behind it. I used the red rock photographs myself for my supplement company and put that photograph of Courthouse Butte on my label for my Master Detox line that I had, that I don't have anymore. That's another story. But I think that what would you want to say to people who are looking at coming to Sedona? What would you bring to them? I mean, you've shared a lot about it, but
Yeah, just respect the land, support small businesses, all that good stuff. Just don't be throwing trash out the window.
I know,
Or
drives me crazy when I
Yeah.
see that.
The city of Sedona does pretty good of keeping everything clean. We just appreciate if you guys do that. One of the things I do when I go on vacation is support small businesses. The smaller the better. Go in if they're super local. That 60, 70, $100 that you spend at a small business, if it's like a boutique store, bookstore, whatever it may be, it goes a long way with the local business owners. It's hard to start a small business.
People have no idea.
Yeah. Fortunately, my dad's been doing it a long time, so I got to learn from him. He used to pull me out of school to go door to door selling postcards on the reservation. So when I was in 7th, 8th grade.
And he, you might not have known it at that time, but you were being given an education that has tremendous value. My father also, my first business, at 5 years old, we had a deep sea fishing resort on Lake Superior. That was part of how they got the booze from Canada for the Capones. But he put up a candy stand in front of the tavern, and I sold candy at the age of 5. So I started my first business. That's an invaluable thing. So you're going to do that with your daughter?
If she wants it,
You
we'll
have
see.
to carry that tradition.
Yeah, so I plan on having a couple kids, so I'm sure one of them will take on the tradition. My sister didn't want to go that route, and my family respected her decision. And she's doing great for herself, and
That's right.
She's still in town.
We don't want to forget about Jillian.
Yeah,
Tall, beautiful woman, and she was for a while a police officer.
she's working dispatch now.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. I've kind of lost a little bit of.
Yeah, she's the president of one of the Rotary clubs in town this year.
Wonderful.
So she's involved in the community herself and does personal training. So she's busy. She's a busy bee as well.
Yes, I covered the Dolly Parton fundraiser for Imagination Library, and the Rotary was very, very, and I think still is very involved with the Imagination Library. And I covered that about 6 weeks ago or whatever. And that fundraiser, and they did that at the what is that? The ranch out there. I'm forgetting it. But yeah, it was quite a beautiful event. And does your the nonprofit for the preservation, do they do fundraisers? Because I'm noted for bringing in my celebrities, like Jenny Lee Harrison came in for that big fundraiser for your dad years ago. I knew Jenny Lee when I was
Yeah, they're most of the funding's internal, but I'm sure they wouldn't be against having a big fundraiser come in. So I'll talk with them and
yeah, I
maybe
think
get some
we
going.
could do I did huge ones in LA. We did anyway a lot of big ones in Los Angeles for fundraisers for artists and entertainers and sports figures. There were nonprofits that we did big ones for in LA. So, well, I think I would love if you would come on again, and we can maybe focus a little bit about what got cut out from that.
Yeah, we'll see. I did sign an NDA, but so we'll got to see what I can and can't talk about. But whatever I can, I will disclose.
They made you sign an NDA.
Oh yeah, it's the typical kind of. I mean, it was done with the History Channel, but it was like, your rights we get to utilize the rights to your face and voice all across the universe, kind of thing.
Right.
Kind of interesting to read.
Let's see. Where's my? Well, you got to sign one for me now.
Right. So it was interesting. Good people to work with. Not gonna lie. Very quick. Great equipment. So yeah, it was a good time. Good thing seeing that. They had like the guy from the CIA there and all sorts of fun stuff. So
I'll bet they did.
Yeah. So it was
and that might be why you got cut out. But I mean, they can't make you not talk about your own life and your own experiences.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a limit to what an NDA can cover.
Exactly. So. And, my guides, like I have a pretty limited experience, when it comes to orbs, aliens, fourth dimensional beings, the energy. But my guides, a lot of them have great experience and can talk about it. We even do a tour. It's called Bradshaw Point. It's the hill right before Bradshaw Ranch.
Yes, I've been there many times.
Yeah, we still have access to go and do tours up there. So we do a pretty cool tour called Outer Dimensions, where our guides take you out there. We have night vision goggles.
You do? I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, and then they tell all the stories, and it's pretty much guaranteed to see something.
Oh, I know. I've seen them. Yeah. I've seen them, and I mean, I don't know if I ever even told your father this, but I had in 1986 quite an extraordinary experience myself, and so I certainly know a lot about other dimensional experiences,
right,
and extraterrestrial activities. So, well, I knew I was going to have such a great time with you, and it's been a privilege to watch your life. Yeah. You're one of the few that I have known from, I'm kind of a godmother. I definitely wanted you to be in the direction that you're in, and I encouraged you in that way. I certainly did not want you to be, nothing against policemen. I love policemen. I'd love to, yeah.
It's a hard job.
It's a hard job. Oh, I've defended them mightily in Cottonwood. I really have. I have favored the police force because I would make huge batches of chili and Italian. I'm going to feed people. Right. And big chicken and dumplings and all that stuff, and I'd bring that in for them to enjoy. But I haven't been doing that lately. But maybe I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yes. Feed people. That's what Italians do. So I just can't thank you enough for being a guest here on our show. And will you come on again?
I will, and hopefully, I'll have some more fun, exciting things coming
Oh,
about.
well, of course you will.
we're
We only
actually-
scratched the surface.
Yeah, buying a third plane right now, so it's an escrow, and
Yes. Oh, yes. Your new business is
Sedona Airways.
Airways.
Yeah, Sedona Airways. So
Very good.
new, fun, exciting. Going to Jeeps to airplanes is fun, but my business partners have been doing helicopters mostly, but dabbling planes for many, many years, and
Beautiful.
They're knowledgeable and great and fun to work with, and hopefully that just becomes bigger and bigger. And if it does, then we'll have the capital to talk about getting the ranch back.
Yes, and people think that, oh, he's got all these businesses. It is a challenge to keep our nose above water.
Yeah, don't do business. Don't do it. It's a terrible idea. It's not, you don't make any money until you sell, really, and it's a lot of hard work. You work double the hours for half the pay. Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the truth. So what he's suggesting is about supporting the small businesses. Please understand that concept is true. And unfortunately, all too often, people who are employed with a salary, a lot of them in the city, I'm not happy with some of them in Cottonwood, believe me. I don't care if I offend somebody, because if you're a salaried person, you've never owned your business, you have no idea what it takes to be able to run a business and stay afloat, because a lot of people don't make it. So give support where it needs to go. Come and see our beautiful Red Rock country. I'm a book producer. I produced all of these, which meant I did the design work, I did the writing, the research, got it to the printer at incredible prices that your grandfather enjoyed. And I loved the process, and I would love for you guys to enjoy those books as well. Mason Bradshaw, I knew this was a great time to spend with you.
Yeah.
And I've so enjoyed. Now, I wanted your baby on. Can we have your wife and your baby on next time?
We'll see. Probably.
Oh, we'll see. Oh.
Yeah, I think we can make it happen.
All right, honey.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure.
It has been great fun. Thank you. And any parting comments to the world out there?
No, just support Kathleen, this new venture. It's a beautiful space, great area that we're in right now, and the whole operation they have here, they kind of want to replicate it, and I think it's a great thing to have, not just here in Sedona, but everywhere else. So, support everyone you can.
Yeah. So that goes out to the whole world. Come see us. All right. My love to my family in Wisconsin. I hope you're watching, and they always think I'm weird. Now here's verification.
Yeah. We're all a little weird.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching, and come see us again. That's it for us from the Kathleen Francis Show. It's me saying take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.